Hey. Well, hello, welcome to Raccoon Point Music Studios. I don't know what that was, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm Sean Bombs, and here we like to mess around with guitar pedals and all sorts of other stuff. I'm gonna get right into it though. We clicked on this because you want to know how to do a stereo shoegaze board. I showed this in a previous video, but I was doing it in mono. I just got a second TONEX because I thought I liked I liked one so much I might as well try it in stereo, because I really do like stereo stuff, and not sure how practical it is yet, but I am trying to do something with it. I'm going to try to make this complicated thing as easy as I can, so bear with me. Here we go. So the first thing in line is the Attack Decay from Electro Harmonics. It is like a swell pedal. It takes off the front end. I'll show you what I do with it a lot. Here's the blend knob all the way up. So you can do that kind of stuff. You put a delay on it and you can... You know, you get that thing where you don't have to roll your volume knob and stuff like that. Yes, you have a little less control, but this thing is polyphonic or monophonic, so it's really good for swells and textures and stuff like that. It also has a kick-ass fuzz built into it. That's for another video. I do have something on this on the channel, so if you look for it in my videos, you'll find it. But anyway, what I'm doing with it is using the blend knob so that that swell is underneath my playing. So you hear it. It's subtle but not subtle at the same time, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing for the first thing in my chain, right? All right, so the next thing is the whammy pedal, and for this I have it in the 5th up position, so it's a harmony. So now this so it makes those chords now have 5ths above them, and you get chords that would be very hard to play without a second guitar player, basically. All right, so then you add this T4 fuzz, which is a big muff style fuzz, and it has 4 transistors in it. It has really good mid-range. I really love this pedal. It's from Brown Amplification. So let's hear it without anything else. Sounds awesome. Put the swell on, put the 5ths on. All right, so that's those pedals. So the next pedal in line is the Cloudburst by Strymon, and this is in stereo. All right, so how I'm doing that is I have all these pedals in the effects loop. I'm not going to go into the effects loop settings for this. That, you know, there's plenty of videos on that, but if you want to know how I do it, you know, drop something down and I'll do another video on that. But for the sake of this video, I want to keep it simple. You could do this without the HX stomp, but you would need a ABY pedal to split your guitar signal to go to these. All right, so I'm basically using the HX stomp as the ABY. I could put other effects before or after all this if I wanted to, but for this I'm using all this. All right, so the Cloudburst is basically a shimmer pedal on steroids because it's just smarter than most. It really picks up on what you're playing, and the overtones are more musical. It's very hard to get really bad notes playing along with you. But I have it set up for this as kind of a reverse reverb type of thing, because I have my time of the reverb short, the pre-delay long, the mix knob a little bit above 50, and the tone knob a little bit less than 12. And I have it in the middle position to get some of the string. If you have it to the right, you get a lot of it, but I just wanted it subtle for what it does. It's not that subtle, but you know, compared to the switch being over, it's subtle. All right, so, and this is, see, I could make this a little longer, but I wanted it like this so it's not getting in the way, because I also have a delay after it. You hear that? It's kind of like a string, synthy string sound. And when I stop, it kind of goes away because the reverb time is short. But when I'm playing, it kind of comes in and out. So check this out. Now, add the swell with that, then it kind of makes more sense, all right? Add the fifths with it, makes even more sense. Add the fuzz, it makes even more sense. All right. And then next in the chain will be the Nemesis. And yes, all these are in front of the amp. So if you were doing this in mono, you could just go directly in your amp and get this kind of sound, okay? But I just felt like doing it in stereo because I got the second TONEX now, and I'm like, cool. All right, so this is on an analog delay. It might be a little too long on the feedback. And it's not like the pre-delay goes into it perfectly or anything, but we're not going for a rhythmic thing. I'm going for like a strummy texture thing, all right? So when I put all this on, I'm not gonna put the fuzz on just yet, but when I put it on with all the other pedals besides the fuzz, you get this. And it, you know, when I first started, it was a little weird, but once I got into the groove, it was fine. And it just adds a little longevity to some of the other effects that are going on without it being too in the way. So that being said, let's move on to the TONEXs. So on the left side, we're using a twin reverb capture. And on the right side, we're using a Jazz Chorus 120 by Roland capture. And, you know, I just wanted to try it. You're getting two different guitar sounds on each side, or amp sounds on each side. So I'm going to turn everything off, and we're just going to... You know, pretty cool. I mean, it's a nice jangly kind of clean sound. And, you know, like I said, you put the fuzz on, one side's getting it a little bit different because they're going to react differently. So it's important to note that not all the captures are in phase with each other. So you have to be careful which ones you choose to pair with each other, unless you have an A-B-Y switch with a polarity flip on it, like the Twin City from Radial that I have. I could have been using that for this whole thing to split after this into the stereo stuff, but I chose to just use the HX Stomp in case I wanted to use it for something else. So that's one thing to note, but these are sound fine without flipping any kind of polarity. So what else? Yeah. So again, that's what you get. You put all these together and you get this. Now, if I wanted to, I could put stuff that would be after this, but before this. So I'm not sure how, what that would be like, but, well, we'll see. Let's try this. Where are we at here? Let's go with a stereo chorus. Yeah. What's this? All right, it's probably gonna sound funky, but who cares? Now, I don't know if it'll sound much different before this, because like I said, everything's kind of in front of the amps anyway. And that way you get dreamier sounds. Now, if I wanted to get really dreamy, I could take the blend knob all the way up on this attack decay, turn this attack to further, and you would get So there you go. I mean, you can get some pretty interesting stuff. This Nemesis can have delays ping pong on any of the delay algorithms in here. So if I wanted to get crazy and really have things sound wider, I could. And then obviously the HX Stomp has some ping pong delays as well. We could do, you know what? We're here, right? Let's try it. Is that, yeah, stereo? Let's do a ping pong. Why not? So the sky is the limit. Yeah. So I'm having fun with this. Now, do I need to have the second TONEX? I guess if I want to have things in the effects loop, because I can't figure out a way to have the HX Stomp go from mono to stereo, as far as like mono to stereo. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I can either do mono in the effects loop or stereo in the effects loop. So the only other thing I could think to do would be to, I guess, put this in the effects loop and then put everything else after it. And then these would be in front still. So, you know, there's a bunch of different ways we could go about doing this. This is just the way I'm doing it today. This is all subject to change. Not even sure if I'll stick with a stereo setup at this point. There it goes again. They gotta fix this shit, bro. Ain't no fucking way that the power should be out this long and there ain't even a storm. It's been beautiful here for weeks. Man, no heat wave, no nothing right now. It's like 80 degrees and beautiful. It's like springtime around here right now. Anyway, if you're into this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.